Good afternoon to you all and welcome to Wembley Stadium ahead of Monday night's Sky Bet League One playoff final. For those of you at home, we'll be bringing you an exclusive match programme featuring all the build-up as Oxford United take on Wycombe Wanderers for a place in the Sky Bet Championship next season. Two teams who have had incredible seasons will be hearing from both managers as they look to secure a place in the Championship for next season. We also speak to Wycombe Wanderers defender Jack Grimmer, who was a winner here in 2018 with Coventry City, Oxford United's Simon Eastwood and experienced midfielder James Henry, someone who knows only too well what it feels like to win promotion to the Championship. We've also got an exclusive interview on the official EFL podcast with Simon Grayson, who is no stranger to the playoffs, having won here numerous times as a manager. We've also been speaking to Wycombe Wanderers legend Keith Ryan and former Oxford United striker James Constable, so there's plenty to come. But first, let's remind ourselves of how both sides reached tonight's final.
Here's Dinma. Electric pace, tries to run around Suter. Oh, Suter's given it straight back! Fred Dinma for Wycombe. And all of that good work from Fleetwood undone in the blink of an eye. They're going to lose on the night, it would seem. But they will not matter to them, although Dinma looking for an equaliser. Oh, that's a super goal. He's second of the night, and he sends Wycombe to Wembley. The fairy tale continues. Level on the night. Far too good on aggregate. Fred Dinma. Two-goal hero at Adams Park.
Scored by number 23, Fred Onyedinma.
Use the defender as a shield. Took it so well. Harness. He squeezed it in. Marcus Harness for Portsmouth, who take the lead at the Kassam and go in front on aggregate. Surely the last action of the first half. Henry with the corner. Towards Bass. Oh, was it over the line? Referee's had a look at his watch to see the goal line technology, and it is an equaliser for Oxford United. Now, there was confusion at the back between Bass and Harrison, and it has dropped over the goal line, and Oxford have an equaliser with virtually the final kick of the first half. It's Marquis up against Simon Eastwood in the first of the penalty shootout. And it's successful. Woodburn to try and level it up. Alex Bass in the Portsmouth goal. And he's done so. 1-1. Oh, that's a terrific second penalty for Portsmouth. Ford to level things up. And he's just done so, beyond the reach of Bass. Lee Brown captained Portsmouth in the first leg of this semi-final. No doubt about that. An emphatic finish from the fullback. He got some power behind that. 3-3. And Eastwood saves. It's advantage Oxford. Alex Bass stands in the way. John Massinho will take. Oxford's penalties have been terrific, and they are now in front. Ollie Hawkins must score, otherwise Oxford are going to Wembley. And he does. Cameron Brannigan very, very carefully places this ball. Brannigan to take Oxford to Wembley. And they are going to Wembley Stadium for the League One playoff final. 5 successful penalties out of 5 for Oxford United. And the U's are going to Wembley next Monday, where they will face either Fleetwood or Wycombe Wanderers for a place in the EFL Championship.
Now that we've reminded ourselves of the semi-finals, let's hear from Oxford United's Simon Eastwood, who of course saved a penalty in the shootout in the semi-finals to help Oxford reach this stage. He was also here with Oxford back in 2017 when the club lost out in the EFL Trophy final. He spoke to Ryan Grant earlier this week.
Somebody who said it would be Oxford Wycombe at the start of the season and the League One playoff final. I don't think you'd have too many takers, to be honest. I think our season last season we were poor. Really, we had a really good run at the end of the season. The last 10 to 12 games to really pull us away from the relegation zone. It kind of masked probably the season that we had. It was a poor season. I think we finished mid-table overall. So yeah, to get to where we are today, to be, like you said, in a League One playoff final is massive for the club. And I've said it before, you're probably not going to get a better chance to get promoted. And I'm sure both teams are thinking that. How big of a chance it actually is to be in the Championship.
So now let's hear from Jack Grimmer, someone who only joined Wycombe Wanderers this season. He was a winner at Wembley with Coventry City back in 2018 when they won promotion from Sky Bet League 2. He also scored in that game, and having been at Fulham as a youngster, he would love nothing more than a second chance at playing football in the Sky Bet Championship.
On a personal note, I would love to get another crack at it. I played a little bit in it with Fulham. It probably throughout my career at a stage that I wasn't quite ready. I'd happily admit that I was probably a bit young and naive, and I was thrust into a team that was expecting promotion, and I found that hard to deal with mentally, that kind of pressure at such a young age. And I've now sort of had that footballing journey, came back up through the leagues, and to achieve promotion back to where I want to get to would be unbelievable. But then to take into account to achieve it with this team would just be unbelievable. I think you would never wipe the smile off my face. To come from where we've, like you say, when I first joined in pre-season, no one was even remotely talking about promotion, and to achieve that, I think most importantly to give it back to the gaffer and his assistant Dobbo. I mean, the work they've put in when they first joined the club, for me, as well as the gaffer, and that, to give it back to like Matt Bloomfield and JJ, players that have been here for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, to really help them push the club over that line would be, for me, the best thing and the best feeling. So yeah, here's hoping it's going to be a really good game on Monday, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Now, James Henry is a man who has made over 400 career appearances, 139 of those coming in an Oxford United shirt. He's a man who knows only too well what it feels like to win promotion from League One, having experienced it with both Wolves and Bolton Wanderers prior to his arrival at Oxford. Henry has been key to Oxford's success this season, having been directly involved in 24 goals in all competitions, a personal best for him.
Yeah, obviously, if we go up, it could be one of my best. I've really enjoyed my football since I've come to Oxford, especially. It took me a little while to settle in. I think sort of the first 6 months probably didn't perform as well as I'd like, but since then I've performed pretty consistently. And this year's been really good to play with. The boys, that just the way we play as well. The passing football really suits me, and the gaffer has a lot of confidence in me to play my game, which is great, and it does sort of take the shackles off sometimes. But it also helps having players around you that know your strengths, and I've certainly had that this year. It's massive to everyone. That's ultimately where every player at this level wants to be. They want to take that next step up. I'm lucky enough that I have played at that level, but I'm desperate to get back there. I still believe in myself, and I still believe that I can play at that level. For whatever reason, I'm not. So this could be the best route back there for me, and I'm desperate to take this opportunity and to help Oxford as a club as well to get there, because I think this season everything's been moving in the right direction for the club, and this would really top it off.
Finally then, we hear from two club legends in Keith Ryan and James Constable, both of which will be supporting their former clubs on Monday night. Having helped Wycombe achieve their Football League status, Keith Ryan was part of the 1994 Chairboys side that won promotion from the 3rd Division under Martin O'Neill. He also famously scored against Liverpool in Wycombe's 2001 FA Cup semi-final before going on to manage the club. After making over 500 appearances in a career spanning 16 seasons, there's no doubt about his legend status amongst Chairboys fans, and he'd love nothing more than see his team win promotion.
It's incredible. I'm finding it difficult to find words to really explain what an achievement it is to get to this stage. When you've been in football and you've played really hard games at home and away from home, in the bottom division in League One that it is now, it's a tough league to get out of. I think anyone would tell you that. And we tried it in my era for years and years. We had a sort of a dramatic rise to fame, if you like, through from the conference into Division 2 and then straight up into Division 1, and we came pretty close. And I can remember back to those days, we were a strong side, but we didn't achieve it. So what Gareth's been able to do this season, and I think it's been well documented that he's had probably the lowest budget in the league. He's cobbled together a team, albeit a really, really good team, from some loanees. They've been really diligent in the transfer market. I'm sure that Gaz and Dobbo, his assistant, have been out watching games Tuesday evenings, Wednesday evenings. You don't just stumble across a side like that. So they've certainly done their homework, and to have achieved what they have done this season, which is culminating in this final at Wembley, is just incredible.
And so to James Constable, who is no stranger to Oxford United fans either. He helped the club to promotion in 2010 and was leading goalscorer in each of his 6 seasons at the club. He spoke to Ryan Daly earlier in the week and said he'll be wearing his shirt from the 2010 final to cheer Carl Robinson's side on Monday night.
You're no stranger to winning promotion, obviously with Oxford United as well. Can you talk us through some of the main points of that 2010 season where you went up, just bar the playoff final at the moment, but I think you got 26 goals in 44 league appearances that year. Obviously, it's a nice stat to look back on, but obviously the bigger picture was getting that playoff final spot and then achieving promotion that year as well.
Yeah, well, that was the aim. I think from the first week of pre-season, we had meetings and we went away, and that was our focus, was promotion. We didn't really consider anything else. We didn't want to get in the playoffs. We didn't want to have a season where we built on what we'd done last year. It was literally the sole aim was promotion, and we started fantastically well, got ourselves in a brilliant position, and around Christmas time, I think we managed to sort of have 3 or 4 games that were called off, and Stevenage managed to play their games and get their wins, and I think a 12, 14, 15 point gap between us and Stevenage was soon sort of closed up, and they overtook us, and they were fantastic that year. They were just relentless, and every time we would win, we'd look and they would have won by a goal more, and they just give us no time. And as it was, like I say, they overtook us, and we managed to sort of get into the playoffs at the end of the season. But I think it was always the promotion in our back of the head was that was what we wanted to do, whether we had to do it through the playoffs or not. We were going to want to get promotion. So once the sort of dream of going up automatically was taken away, then we sort of switched our focus really to then get in the playoffs, finish the season as well as we could. And it was only recently we had a 10-year reunion, and we sort of found out that Chris and the chairman had spoke about playing the team that was going to play in the final at Wembley the last, probably, I think it was sort of 7 or 8 games of that season. So that was already their thought process in terms of where they knew we were going to finish. They were already planning on getting that team sort of gelled and ready for that playoff game that like I say, is almost just a one-off really. But we were going to get in the best shape we could, and as a manager, he was going to make sure that everybody knew their roles ready for that one game that was the most important of the season really.
Finally then, let's hear from a man who knows a thing or two about a promotion at Wembley, especially via the playoffs. Simon Grayson has won promotion with Blackpool, Huddersfield Town and Preston North End, and he previews Monday night's final with Ben Turner in a League One special edition of the EFL podcast.
I've always stressed to my players to make sure that you have no regrets when you come off that pitch, whether you've won, lost or draw. You've given everything. You've gone out. You've made your supporters proud, your family proud. And if you've lost the game, well, you have to accept that because there can only be one winner at times. But again, going back to what we said earlier, make sure you do what your coach and your manager has asked you to do, and don't be just sort of going off ad hoc and getting away from what you've done over the course of a long season. Because stick to a game plan. You've got a great opportunity of winning a football match and ultimately promotion to the Championship, which is an unbelievable league at this moment in time. And for two clubs like Oxford and Wycombe, and not being disrespectful to them, I don't think either of them would have expected to be in this position come the start of the season.
You can access the podcast via Spotify or Apple Podcasts or via the EFL website on efl.com. So that's it from us. For more ahead of tonight's League One playoff final, please visit our website on efl.com or go to the EFL's official YouTube channel. You can follow all of tonight's action from the safety of your own home live on Sky Sports, or if you don't have Sky, simply follow on Twitter via @SkyBetLeague1. Thanks for joining us and we'll see you soon.